In today's video, I wanted to tell you about a book that I've recently read, and a book that I really liked. It's called The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. It's a book about psychology, but not just psychology in general. It's a book about cognitive errors, so mistakes, errors that we make in our thinking when we think. And so I decided to read this book because, of course, we think every day, we make decisions every day, and I thought that maybe this book will help me make better decisions. It will help me, as the title says, think clearly, more clearly. It's a book that it's a collection of 100 cognitive biases, cognitive mistakes, and I'll give you an example. Number one, the first one is called survivorship bias, and I'll just read out a paragraph. It says this: in daily life, because triumph is made more visible than failure, you systematically overestimate your chances of succeeding. As an outsider, you succumb to an illusion and you mistake how minuscule the probability of success really is. So you are a victim of survivorship bias. But this is just a short paragraph. But then in each chapter there is a story, and it's science based. So I don't like those kind of self-help books, like American style self-help books that tell you that you can be the greatest man or woman in the world, that you can achieve anything you want because you are, you've got this potential. Well, we know. We know it's I think that's cheap self-help, and I prefer books that are based on real stories, so stories of people who succeeded, people who failed, and they tell what happened, how they failed, why they failed, how they succeeded. I'm more interested in these kind of books, and books that are based on science, not just some claim by from some guru, and this is one of those. This is a book about psychology based on scientific research. Each chapter tells you about a particular cognitive mistake, and I wanted to read my favorite quote from this book, which actually comes from the introduction, not from one of the chapters, but from the introduction. It's the last paragraph of the introduction, and it says this. It's the author speaking. He says, "My wish is quite simple. If we could learn to recognize and evade the biggest errors in thinking, in our private lives, at work, or in government, we might experience a leap in prosperity. We need no extra cunning, no new ideas, no unnecessary gadgets, no frantic hyperactivity. All we need is less irrationality." Irrationality. This is something that, after I read this book, I'm now more. I use this word more often when I have conversations in my day-to-day life with my partner Aloha, for example. I find myself using that word more often, like when we are talking about something that happened to us or something that we want to do in the future, or an opinion on a particular event. Well, I find myself using this word more often. Like I say, that's irrational. So what we're thinking right now, what we're saying right now, is irrational. How can we know? So things like this. And irrationality. I like this word. I wonder how many times in our daily life we are being irrational. How many times we take things for granted because they are the way they are, the way we see them, and we don't question them. So it's all about critical thinking. This is a big topic for me. It's something that I really enjoy exploring, being critical. So not accepting things for how you see them just because they're like this, they look like this, then maybe, you should question them. Anyway, this is a book that I want to write a blog post on this because it's really hard to memorize. I don't think we should memorize books, but there's so much information, and I think maybe I'm thinking of writing a list of these 100 cognitive mistakes, cognitive errors that we make, with a little summary of each mistake. So that will help me, internalize them, and maybe, hopefully, recognize them. The moment I'm thinking something that, I probably should question, or maybe I should reflect a little bit more on, then maybe summarizing this book in a blog post will help me. I will do that. Anyway, the link is in the show notes, and that's it. I hope you found this book recommendation video useful. I hope that you will read it. If you have any questions about this book, I didn't write it. I just read it, and I think you will like it too. If you like the kind of content that I make, which is all about, it's all boring, thinking, questioning stuff that happens to us, I think you will like this book. All right. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you in the next video or podcast episode. Bye-bye.